Good evening and welcome to the Pizza Roundtable, part of the I Need Pizza Club network. I am Jim Mumford, one of your two hosts this evening, joined by Anna Crucitt, my other host this evening. Anna, how are you? How have you been?
It's been a wild week, a wonderfully wild week.
A wonderfully wild week. Well, I mean, I think we should just get right to it and unpack it.
Sure.
So what have you and perhaps even Michael been up to?
I just flew back this morning, a 24-hour trip to New York City, and we hosted our second lunch and learn for the John Arena Foundation at Castay, but it was our first fundraising dinner. So we had 8 chefs present a tasting menu, and we had 90 people in attendance at Castay for it. It was a sold out event, which was really exciting. And it was about 2.5 hours. We got to eat some really amazing food last night. And then I flew back this morning and went to work.
Just a casual 24-hour whirlwind. So recap, right? So John Arena Foundation,
Yes.
remind us what they do, who they support.
So the John Arena Foundation, it was started by a committee or a group of team members. I chair the committee, and we are supporting John Arena, who is a team member of ours. He is a pizza maker, a master pizzaiolo. He's very well known in the pizza community, the pizza industry, a wealth of knowledge, an amazing human. And he was diagnosed about 11 years ago with Parkinson's disease. We as pizza makers and restaurateurs, we are always doing things to support our communities and organizations. And we thought that it would be a really awesome opportunity to rally around someone in our industry, but also a friend of ours. And so we wanted his input around it. And he's really just kind of leading the charge in how he sees this vision for it. Our goal is, not to come up with a cure. There's lots of foundations that are out there to raise money to look for a cure, although that would be really wonderful. Our goal is to use culinary therapy, pizza making is one of them, as a way to just keep people who are diagnosed with Parkinson's active and engaged with their families, with their community, and there's no better food than pizza. So we are using dough making and pressing out pizzas, all of it, just fine motor, hand-eye coordination, just different ways of using it, learning a new skill, and hopefully they're encouraging them to gather with family, get out into the community and have some fun. So we got to do that yesterday at Castay. We did a lunch and learn. There were about a dozen Parkinson's patients that were able to, maybe not quite that. They had caregivers as well, but we had patients there that got to learn from John himself. And the other really cool thing is, because the mission of the foundation is for chefs all over the United States to host these lunch and learns on their own. So not only are we working with Parkinson's patients, but we're learning from John on how to teach these patients in our own communities, so that if anybody would like to host a lunch and learn and invite different groups, different small groups, different support groups for Parkinson's, that they would be able to understand how the class would be run. So,
Just
yeah.
incredible. And thank you for all that you've done, right? You're giving the fish, you're teaching them how to fish, right? You're doing the whole spectrum, which is incredible. And I learned it makes so much sense, right? So much of Parkinson's, cure or not cure, but part of their treatment is the fine motor skills, which pizza making is perfect, right? And by the way, you're not just playing with sand, right? You get to produce something, you get to engage the creative side of your brain's wonderful. So thank you for doing that. And I certainly have learned a lot. Do you have any pictures to share from the event? I'm sure you took one or two.
These were taken by Andrew Young. He can be found on Instagram. His handle, taking a look, is called the Overworked
Love it.
Asian. And so super talented. It was really nice of him to let me grab my screen.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, as you pull it up, again, something else I thought was cool. John was there and he was teaching, right? So what an awesome part of just the entire experience to have him, who's a legend. I mean, let's not mince words. He is an absolute legend.
Yep.
Just have him there is such a part of the whole thing. It was inspirational. So I thought that was incredible.
And I will say, like, thank you so much to Scott Weiner, who led the charge in getting the chefs together for the dinner, and to Roberto at Castell for hosting it. But this is just a picture of us together, and obviously John with Roberto. And these were the participants in the class. So, some have been diagnosed for 2 years and some have been diagnosed for about 10 years. So, just everybody's at different levels, which is really interesting to see how different the disease kind of manifests. But everybody still had the same determination to make a delicious pizza. So, those are some of our pizza participants. And then we just had, yeah, it's so amazing to watch how great their pizzas looked at the end of it, And then what's also really cool about this is that they got to take their pizzas home.
Right.
So we typically make the pizzas when we're at these pizza classes, but John was like, no, I want these classes designed for people to take it home and share it with someone.
Which is everything, right? I mean, that's so special, right? And then to have the whole experience again, sharing it with family, right? And so much of, the journey is family based, providing just to provide back to give the opportunity. So amazing. Thank you. And again, not only did you have this event, but you kind of helped lay the groundwork for other people to have the event, which is even more, inspirational
Yes.
and far reaching.
Thank you. Yeah, we're working to have maybe like 5 more all over the US. So we're working with the committee on who's going to host the next ones and what the timeline of these is going to look like. And so we're just going to very slowly, but also very quickly start laying the groundwork for the foundation. And then we did at the dinner, at the tasting dinner, Michael was there and so gracious. He did a lot of the video footage for it. So I'm so excited to see that, and looked great. And it was so fun hanging out with him.
Yeah, I got the text last night from the two of you. I'm like, I feel so left out. You two are have making these memories here and doing this good thing. And I'm sitting on my couch. So no, incredible. Well, again, thank you, Michael, for for doing the video. Cool. I mean, just an absolute, cool thing, and more to come, more to follow. And my
And it's
gosh,
up to the one we have in Pittsburgh.
deal. I mean, deal. I mean, and people don't realize Chef Anna did a 24-hour flight. Like she literally flew there, did the whole day, then flew back, and then still had a full day. Like people don't realize just
I
the
went straight to
absolute
work. I
trepidation.
couldn't even. I couldn't even. I was like, I can't. I don't have time to go home. I just went from the airport
Did you
to,
really? Did you
yeah,
really? My goodness.
yeah. I have too much to do. I have like my very structured life, and I needed to get there. I already missed yesterday's production day. I don't like to do that,
Yeah.
so.
Last thing I'll brag about you. I heard from several people I reached out to. The star of the show was your gelato. Like
Well,
people,
that's
the pizza
sweet.
was great, but the gelato was legendary. I think that's the exact quote from people I saw on Instagram. Yeah, I didn't say anything.
Yeah, let me tell you a funny story about that. And what I learned after I've been shipping our gelato all over the United States 20 years. I did it when I was in my teens. I would do it for my mom. We have distributors, and we get orders and we ship them. We've always shipped it with dry ice. Well, wouldn't you know, on Saturday I had my husband's family in town for Easter and I forgot to go get the dry ice. And then Sunday was Easter, so it was closed. And then Monday we were leaving. I had to get to the airport at 5 a.m. So nothing was
Really?
open to get the dry ice. So I just put the gelato in a box. I took 3 5-liter liners and 9 pints, and I just stuck it in a styrofoam box that we typically ship in. That's exactly right. And I gave it to God. I just taped it right up. I checked it underneath the airplane, $35 to check this bag. I get to New York. I just so badly wanted to open the box, but I'm like, this isn't going to help us. I mean, it came out of the freezer at about 4:45 a.m. I get to Castell. Nobody's opening the door for me. Panicking. They come out about 10:15. So I stood there for 30 minutes just staring in the windows. Like, I see a fire. I know someone's in there. And when I opened up the box, it was rock solid. And
Amazing.
I thought, well, Well, if that isn't news.
Yeah, I mean, amazing, right? And just you're
That's
doing a good thing that,
2.5 hours. Now I know I can take that anywhere. I just
yeah.
anyone I want to visit, I just take gelato.
I mean,
I
just
know,
Michigan,
right?
right? It's not that far, under 5 hours. So, awesome. And just
Yeah.
so again, awesome event. Thank you. I'm sure we'll share the details in the next one. But had to spend the first 10 minutes talking about this wonderful thing you did, uh, and yeah. So thank you. And
Thank you.
so we have a couple articles this week. If you're ready to dive into them. Uh, the first one is in honor of Will. Will, who was a friend of the pod, was one of the co-hosts for a while. He had one thing that would send him off more than anything in the world, and it was California style pizza. So, Anna, first, California style pizza, how would you define it, or would you define it?
I don't have I mean, to me, California style is thin. It's about 12 or 14 inches, depending on who's making it, a little bit crispy or a lot of bit crispy, again, depending on who's making it. And like the article said, California, you're using the most in season, very fresh ingredients, very local ingredients. So I don't know that it's a style so much as it is a
Way of
culture.
life. Yeah. Yeah, so by Chowhound by Yahoo Life, right? California style pizza bends rules in most delicious ways. And the article basically discussed California style pizza, right? And I think you nailed it perfectly, right? It's not in the crust, it's not in the sauce like other ones, right? Like a Detroit or a New York. It's in the vibe, right? It's in the wild toppings, it's in the truly what's in the garden goes on. I would say red sauce or tomato based sauce is rare on a California style pizza, right? It's Asian ingredients, it's other things. So certainly, Wolfgang Puck is attributed with kind of starting it, but you can even go back, further, right? What they have, and there are certain then pizza makers have taken it, right? And it's kind of what Neapolitan style turned into on the California. But I love it. I do think it's a style, again, not because of necessarily the ingredients, but because of the vibe and the thought. So just wanted to get your take, and really the article was just that. So I'll put you on the spot. California style, do you have a topping or a pizza that comes to mind when you think California style, like this is totally it? Or
I think it's not that I've had. I mean, I don't typically have California style pizza here in Pittsburgh,
it's close.
but like it's one of those things where you can spot it. You can
When you see it.
walk through a floor of pizza and you can see that's a California pizza. But I don't know why. It just looks like a California pizza. It looks like it has some greens. A lot of it's with the coloring, the textures they're playing with. I think it's a style because you can isolate it and
You
say
can see
this
it.
is what that is, just like you can do for a Detroit.
Yeah.
As far as ingredients, it's the most non-traditional, now traditional style of pizza.
Like that. Yeah, if you were writing a cookbook about styles and you say California, you nailed it, right? It's color, right? Because it's going to have wild colors. It's all not always normally going to be topped with a seed, a green, a sauce, right?
Mhm.
There's going to be a finish to it. And you also said the size. They're not 18-inch behemoths, right? These are flatbreads. They're 10, 12-inch kind of small, shareable kind of vibes. So
Yes.
yeah, thought that was interesting. And Will, if you're watching, please get annoyed that we talked about California style. I did that just for you,
It's for
just
you.
to set you off, my friend. Speaking of turtles, let's go to yeah, I mean, listen, segues are always my thing. Let's go to Chicago. So brought to you by Block Club Chicago. Nailed it. Bridgeport's Cowabunga Pizza Pie serves up Ninja Turtles themed slices, 90s nostalgia. So, Bridgeport, which is a neighborhood in Chicago. And yeah, so, I mean, just getting right into it before I get your thoughts, pretty fun. So, Sean Rogers started up a 90s themed pizzeria. He's been all around, right? The Berghoff, which is kind of a staple German restaurant, and he made Cowabunga pizza pie. So, yeah, Ninja Turtles, big fan. Who's your favorite? You a Raph, Donnie? Who's your go-to?
Michelangelo.
Yeah, I can
That's
see that.
fun. The most fun. It's kind of rogue. I think that this is amazing, and I also like it. I hope this like works forever. I don't know if this is like going to be trendy or if this is like a 5-year lease option and we're just going to make a bunch of money and jump out. But I I think that that could be like you could sell licenses here with this, not franchises, right? We're not doing this for 50 years. But I think there's a lot of money to be made. People love this. I mean, the pizza looks great.
Mhm.
It looks exactly like they would be serving it, and then the vibe, I mean, obviously nice, so I think that was so cool. And it's like bringing it to life, it's like our childhood, like, coming to fruition. I wanna go to that pizzeria that the Ninja Turtles bought
Yeah.
from.
So I'm going to be there in a couple of weeks. Right, I'm going to be up to Bridgeport. Yeah, I love it. Right, the old school Nintendos, the big TVs, and the neighborhood can support this kind of pizzeria. I can say it's definitely one that's got a little more family oriented. Right, so it's going to have the millennials like certainly me, and I'm assuming by your comment you, since you automatically have favorite
Yeah.
Ninja Turtle.
And
So
Power Ranger,
obviously, who's your favorite Power Ranger, and why is it the Green
the
Ranger?
pink one,
Yeah, I guess that's fair. It's
although the white one kind of
I mean,
he was
who
great.
could? Yeah, it's green, white, whatever. But so I think it's cool, and don't sleep on how good the pizza. Like you said, the pizza looks like that New York classic style, which is not as prevalent in Chicago, obviously, right? As it might be on the East Coast. So I think you're doing a lot of good here with really good pies, but also you're theming it just right. Kudos, and I've had some friends who stopped by last week, and they said the pizza was top shelf.
That's great.
Yeah,
Good luck to them.
absolutely. Speaking of top shelf pizza, before I even click on this, I think I know the answer. Pizza Hut buffet. Have you been? Does it have a spot in your heart?
Okay, so I have never been to a
Okay.
pizza buffet.
Okay.
But I've been to other pizza buffets. I feel like I forgot that pizza buffets existed until I read this article, right? I'm thinking back maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago, this was like pizza buffet. Then I read this article and I thought, why don't they do that? Why did that ever go away?
Yeah. Brilliant.
It talks about why in the article. I understand it, but in my head, I thought that they should absolutely bring this back. And I think it's a nice opportunity for the franchisees to be able to make that decision.
Yeah. I mean,
Because it is. We talked about this though
we did.
last week. We were
We
just
did.
saying people don't can't afford or don't want to afford to pay for an entire pizza. So, getting a slice or two of different kinds is really the economical way to go.
Agreed. I mean, I remember after football practice, we'd all load up and go to the pizza buffet and make them lose money for that day, right? That was a thing we did, and it always has a soft spot in my heart. And listen, the Pizza Hut in the 90s was peak, right? That was a thing. It was, a cultural thing, the bucket, the buffet, the red cups, the whole thing. But, as the article kind of goes to where did they go? And you alluded to, yes, there's still Pizza Hut buffets out there, and they're kind of starting to bring back that kind of culture. But let's be honest, there's a reason they went away, and really because it's cost, right, and the cost and the potential waste, and frankly the logistics, right. They waned out in the mid 2000s, and they really haven't taken that time to come back because pizza isn't a dine in with the whole family establishment anymore. It truly is a take away kind of place. So, but really interesting. And, the article certainly, from Tasting Table goes on to talks about it. And it is up to individual owners to have that say, which now franchisees do that. And listen, L.A., Toronto, Hawaiian Island. Boy, I can't speak today. And then I know there is one by here by me in Michigan, so they exist, but certainly call ahead. I did look at it. It's not the same. It's not the variety, the salad buffet. And so, fun fact, true or false, in 1990s, Pizza Hut was the number one purchaser of kale in the world. True or false?
That's true.
It is, and no one ate it because it just lined the buffets. It was truly
Like,
decoration
nor
before
should
people
they.
before,
Nor should they.
not kale fan. I mean, that tracks.
I eat it. I eat it because you should, but I it also looks very pretty on a buffet, and if I had to say, it should just stay there.
Agreed. But interesting, right? Just kind of before people ate kale. So yeah, kind of an interesting about Pizza Hut, and everyone's kind of trying their thing, but I don't think they'll ever reclaim their spot of where they were. But listen, the buffet's fun because, like you said, if it is a more economical way to make pizza if you have the volume, and maybe to buy it. So I saw in there, right, the average price point was $10 for the buffet, where you're not buying a pizza for $10, but you can try a few and kind of get your fill and get your variety all at the same time.
Yeah, and again too, like, for my family to go there to eat at a buffet, family of 5, $50 for the buffet, drinks, whatever. I mean, that's still more reasonable than it would be to go out and buy pizza, but you'd buy the whole one, and we all like different things. I think they're bringing that back. As I have said it, I'm an advocate for it. I think slice shops are coming. They're going to be here to stay. I mean, I don't have a slice shop, so I say that with, like, good for all of them.
Yeah, but
I
your
think it's
shop is different, right?
different.
I mean, it's a different animal. But I agree. I think the slice shop is going to certainly become a thing. Even the Bridgeport location we talked about, they did offer slices, right? And that's not a thing you really see in Chicago. So you're seeing the wave. I think Chef Anna called it first in April 2025. So
Sure.
did. All right, last article, kind of an interesting one. It's got a couple angles to it. So before I get into it, you do a lot with pizza. I'm guessing you don't do much frozen pizza. That's just a guess.
I don't do I don't do any frozen pizza, but I just came out of Roberto's freezer, Caprusho's freezer, and at Caste, they do so much frozen pizza.
They do.
It's wild. It was fascinating.
And I'm glad you said that, right? Because and we're gonna talk about this article, but the evolution of frozen pizza over the last 10, 15 years, right, is so different, right? It's not the flat, concrete discs. There's so many gourmet options. There's Gold Belly, there's shipping, there's all these things, right? The frozen pizza has really emerged. But as the article says from Yahoo Finance, that we're seeing a surge in frozen pizza, which is a good thing, except the last time we saw a surge was back in 2009 when the recession hit, and it's basically a leading indicator of have people trying to cut back and dying out. Right, we're not going to Pizza Hut, we're getting a frozen pizza. So interesting article. You can kind of believe what you want to believe on this article, but that kind of scoreboard, right? So if you talk about 2009, 2020 frozen pizza soars, you know, other businesses, right, are going to suffer, right, and there's economic anxiety. So I don't want to get necessarily in the economics of it, but I did kind of want to talk about again frozen pizza. And again, I don't do it, I don't do much of it, but you know a couple hours ago I went to market, I just walked down the frozen pizza aisle. I had not looked in 10 years. Chef, it looks so different, right? It's not the party pizzas and you get pepperoni, a 4 cheese, right, mushroom, right? There are some really artisanal brands there. So I don't think it's really replacing or a low value option to fast food pizza. I think it's much different, right?
Uh, I think that's really what people are looking for too. So they're meeting that need in the market and they're capitalizing on it. Obviously, I think that so it's funny because you read this article and it says that the recession's forcing people to kind of eat in and buy, which you see that, but also you read another article that will say that the grocery prices are so high that it costs just as much to go out to eat as it does to cook at home, and so we're kind of seeing two different waves at the same time frame. So, for me, I feel like just staying the course, what I'm doing. But even in the pandemic and now, so I'll just say it again. We were just talking about it with the slices, like the frozen take home single portions, like single cups of gelato that we spoke about. I mean, that is really what people are looking for. They want to be able to buy from the same place for everyone in their family, but they want it to meet like individual. Like, what does this child want and what flavor do they want and what slice of pizza? And, doing frozen pizzas in a grocery store makes that more attainable, like for people.
It does, right? It's gotta be, you gotta, customize about dietary preferences and needs. And so kind of with this, right? The thing, I'm gonna make my bold call about, pizza trends. I think pizza kits, right? So fresh pizza kits are gonna be the next wave, right? Where it can still be customizable, but it's fresh, it's not frozen, fresh dough, the cheese, the sauce, whatever, and you can make it in your way and your preference. You can customize it. You still have that hands-on, right? You're not paying for freezer space, which is a premium, right? But you're still kind of that in between where you're not, doing the whole, $100 of Pizza Hut, right? You can still kind of have the in between. So I'm calling pizza kits as the kit,
Could say
the
that.
trend.
I There was a bit of time, mostly through the pandemic, where people were very, very into that. But I stopped promoting my pizza kits because doing pizza classes, I realize that not everybody's very good at making pizza, and I want them to win at it, right? I want there
Right.
to be an explanation. I want them to understand the process. So until there's like a QR code on that, which I could make, do a video like step 1, step 2, it has to be more engaging, because otherwise people are going to be using cold dough that they just smash all their groceries on top of it before they got it to their house. They put it in the refrigerator, they pull it out, and they get their rolling pin out and a lot of all-purpose flour, and that shit's gonna burn.
Yeah, it is.
Go well for them. And my heart's just like, it could be so much better. Like people, they come to a pizza class and they're like, oh, well, I buy like Costco dough. I'm like, Costco dough is fine. It's treat it the same, can't
Get
maintain
warm.
the integrity of the dough and temper it and just, yeah. So, but there needs to be like more of a public service announcement about how to treat dough. And then I think pizza kits to follow would be like the coolest thing.
Yeah, agreed. Maybe like an in-depth cookbook with pictures and stuff would be a good start.
Wonder where I can find
Yeah,
that.
we'll talk about that maybe next
What if
episodes.
someone did that?
Mm.
That would be
Wonder
cool.
if they did spent 7 years of their life doing that. Um, and so thank you. Those are the articles we had this week. Really wanted to focus on the event. Tell everyone on the internet where they can find you and your content.
I am on Instagram. I am at Mercurios PGH and Anna.Crucitt if you want to see some pictures of dogs and kids as well
We
as
we
July.
really do. I noticed that you had some new content up, and just kind of checking it right now. I thought it was your story from the event yesterday was like 40 posts deep, which I thought was pretty cool. So definitely check out Anna Mercurios and everything she's rocking. I'm Jim Mumford. You can find me Jim Cooks Food Good wherever you get your content. And of course, I know you already follow I Need Pizza Club on Instagram and on YouTube. Like, rate, subscribe, all the wonderful things that you do to promote wonderful podcasts like this. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for a wonderful half hour. We hope to see everyone next Tuesday for another Pizza Roundtable. Thank you all.
Have a good night.